Welcome everyone. I think we'll try and get going. On this drizzly, unpleasant Tuesday afternoon. Is it very sunny in Washington right now?
It is more pleasant here.
Yeah. Well, it's 100 degrees in
Exactly.
Washington. Mind you, some of us could do with 100 degrees right now. Welcome to this evening event, and welcome particularly because I think we've got a really interesting and very, very relevant topic for your consideration this afternoon. The title of this event is Evaluating the Impact of Aid to Africa, Lessons from the Millennium Villages. And I want to stress that this is very much about the first part of that title, which is about how do we evaluate impact in the development space? How do we identify what is working, what is not? What can we learn from efforts to do that to date? And the case of the Millennium Villages project is very much a point of departure for that discussion here. And I hope that we'll be able to have a discussion around, where do we go from here based on some of the presentations you'll hear today. As always, for those of you joining ODI events, we are live on stream. Well, we're streaming live via the website. So welcome to all of those who are somewhere else in the world or down the corridor maybe. But it does mean that we do need to speak into microphones, and it does mean that everything going on in this room is on the record. So, with no further ado, let me introduce our two presenters today. The first is, it's our great pleasure to welcome Dr. Michael Clements, a senior fellow at the Center for Global Development based in Washington, D.C., although now with a European arm sitting over there in the corner in the form of Owen Barder. Michael is, I think probably very well known to a lot of you. He has a very strong track record as a thinker and researcher in sort of matters to do with global development. He leads an initiative at CGD on migration and development. He's also their senior research manager. Is that still the case? Sort of overseeing the research portfolio. This is Michael's first visit to ODI, so welcome.
Thank you.
We're sorry it's taken this long, but we're delighted that you're here. Michael's going to speak for close to 30 minutes. He says he won't go a minute over 30, but he's going to present his latest thinking, which he co-authored with a colleague in Nairobi, which he will introduce, on these issues of how do we evaluate impact and what can we learn from the particular case of Millennium Villages. Then on our video link, I'm very pleased to be able to introduce Bele Begashaw, who is with the MDG Centre, as you can see there, with a nice branding in the background, which is, of course, linked to the Earth Institute at Columbia University, which he joined in January 2009 as a senior agricultural policy specialist for East and Southern Africa. And Bele was also, at one point in his career, the Minister for Agriculture in Ethiopia. So welcome to you. I hope you can hear us well enough. Ooh. You might want to hit, that's it.
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and welcome to the discussion today. And once Michael's finished, Bele, I'll be giving you about 20 minutes to maybe reflect and raise some issues before we go to a wider discussion here in London.
That's right. Okay.
Thank you very much indeed. So I'll also be receiving possibly questions here at the desk from those who are working online, so I'll be able to introduce those to the discussion as we go along. So with no further ado, over to you, Michael.